Chapter 8. Helima, the Prince's Betrothal. You may speak your mind in any manner that you please. Princess Helima playfully imitated the queen. She did it so well that one would think that the queen herself was in Lalia's chambers. It even unnerved Lalia a little bit. As soon as they locked eyes, they both burst out laughing, holding their hand over their mouth to stop themselves from waking anyone up. Aside from Nayo and Lalia's slave friends, Princess Helima was also one of the people closest to Lalia. Unbeknownst to Queen Tati and her followers, Lalia and Helima were close friends. This was, however, not the case in the beginning, when Lalia started living in the palace. They were forbidden to have any form of interaction between each other by the queen. Helima used to be just like the queen, very harsh and hateful towards Lalia when they first met. She would insult and cause her great trouble the first few months of her stay in the palace. She would openly do things to hurt Lalia and laugh in her face whenever she succeeded. She was doing all that not just for the fun of it, which she certainly enjoyed, but also to please the queen. This went on for quite a while, and it was made even more terrible when Lalia saved the king from Priest Kunja's poisonous arrow. Helima had also came by to visit the king as soon as she heard that he had been attacked and wounded. While she was there, she heard that Lalia had been doing a great deal to help the king get better. This made her despise Lalia even more than she already did. She hated her for the way the king was enamored with her, for all the many talents she had that captivated him. On one fateful day, Princess Helima set out to play one of her evil pranks on Lalia. She had her servants drop some itchy grass in Lalia's bath water and watched from afar as the girl almost tore her skin off from the itch. She laughed hysterically as she watched. Whenever she was around visiting, she would always happily help the queen as she schemed to burn Lalia's little Ajulu garden. She was a very mischievous girl who always revelled in causing mischief and trouble for the people, especially Lalia. Several times she had the king summon Lalia for some lie or the other that she told against her. For this reason, Lalia always avoided her and painstakingly went out of her way to avoid being in the same place as her. Once, however, when the king had almost completely healed from his wounds and the news of him being unwell had gone around the 5 kingdoms, another attempt was made on his life. He was attacked by a strange man in disguise. The man had disguised himself as a priest from another kingdom and sought a private audience with the king. When he was alone with him, the man brought out a dagger that was hidden in his robes and made for the king, shouting with rage, "This is for Kingdom Jeli." Luckily, the king was very fast and had regained most of his agility, so he was able to move fast enough to hold off the man's arm. He pushed him off and quickly called for his guards, who rushed in immediately, surrounding the stranger. The stranger tried to escape from the guards, and as he was running off, he came across Princess Helima, who, oblivious to what was happening, was taunting Lalia. The stranger had seen how well dressed she was, and in his desperation to escape the guards, he grabbed her and held the dagger to her neck. He meant to use her as a bargaining chip for his escape. This mortified Princess Helima's servants, who were caught off guard by what was happening and screamed for the guards to come to her aid. But the stranger had then ordered them all to go into one of the huts closer to them in the palace to hide from the guards. When the princess attempted to scream out for help, the stranger tightened his hand around her neck, and this made the dagger dig a little bit more into her skin. Lalia and her friends were around to see all of it, as they were there too, when the stranger decided to take the princess hostage. Lalia wanted to turn away and hide from it all, since she was fortunate enough not to be the target of the man. Furthermore, he had even asked Lalia to leave first, as she may have dressed well, but her hideous scar rendered her a useless hostage. She was about to leave after observing all this. However, she suddenly decided to stop and ask the man a question. Why? Why not me? This surprised both the stranger and the princess. Even Lalia was a bit surprised herself for her unexpected reaction and question. Because of your face. Your scar is hideous, the stranger retorted, surprised that she even had to ask that question. I know that, but I still hold more importance than that wench you're holding, Lalia furiously shouted back. And who are you calling a wench? I'll have the— Shut your mouth, Lalia screamed at the princess. Listen here, stranger. The way I say it, you're already trapped here, so there is no way out for you, especially with that useless hostage of yours. If you are to hold me hostage instead, despite my hideous face, you stand a better chance of escaping from this palace. I am the king's ward, and better yet more familiar with the layout of the palace. I know an easy way out of the palace and kingdom without being caught, so I suggest you let go of her and take me instead. Lalia's words shocked everyone, even more so the princess. She wondered why Lalia would want to trade places with her or help her in any way. I doubt very much that she's as useless as you say. Her clothes and ornaments clearly say otherwise. She's definitely a princess, and I am not letting her go. You can't fool me. At this, he held on to Princess Helima even tighter, so tight that the dagger slightly cut into her skin, causing her to bleed a little. This scared Lalia, and she was now at her wit's end, so she raised both hands up as if to surrender, as calmly as she could, and quietly said to the man, "All right, I'm sorry I lied. Please don't hurt her. Just tell me what you want. I want a safe way out of here unscathed, or I will slaughter her." The stranger immediately responded to her pleas. His words petrified Princess Helima, and she thought to herself, "This is it. I am dead." Despite their history, Lalia's heart lurched seeing the fear on Helima's face. She felt sorry seeing her in such a state, all scared and bleeding. She cried out to the man, Okay. I will show you. I will show you. I promise you that I know a place, but please don't hurt her." She then motioned for him to follow her. Helima could not believe everything that was happening right in front of her. She was surprised at what Lalia was doing for her. She was even a bit skeptical. Why would she risk her life to save hers? Besides, there was no secret way out of the palace. Perhaps she was only scheming to get back at me for all I had done to her, Helima mused, trying to make sense of Lalia's actions. She was not alone in this. Even Lalia was surprised at how she got herself this involved. As they tried to leave the quarters, they heard the guards closing in on them, but Lalia helped hide them. And as soon as their footsteps had faded, she started towards the secret passage. She explained to him on their way there that the secret passage had not been used in a long while, as it was quite a treacherous path, but she believed it was his only way out of the palace and kingdom. "You will do well to make sure I don't get caught," the stranger threatened, not believing a word Lalia said. He was suspicious of her motives and had a foreboding feeling that she might just be setting a trap for him to be caught, and he also felt strongly that she was hiding something. "I swear, I am not lying. This is your only way out of here." But there are poisonous snakes everywhere," Lalia nervously explained. She knew this because she had almost traveled this same path a while ago when she discovered the passage. This was during the time King Sayumba was injured. She wanted to fetch him some of the Ajulu herb, and the only way she was able to leave the palace unseen was through this very same passage. However, when she ventured to use the passage, she was nearly bitten by snakes. They stealthily walked on, and when they reached the entrance of the passage, they all stopped. There did not seem to be any visible pathway. All they could see for a good distance was thick bushes. No one would ever suspect that there was a way through the thick bushes. The pathway was a small hole at the mouth of the bushes, hidden by the tall and thick grasses surrounding it. Even though she had never ventured all the way through the passage, she was sure that it was the port out of the palace. It was the same one her real mother had used when she fled, but Lalia had no knowledge of this. She was rather pleased with herself for finding it all on her own. "Here, this is the passage. Now let her go." The man hesitated, skeptically looking at the hole Lalia had just shown him. "You go in first," the stranger ordered. The hole was quite obscure, so he wanted to be certain that he was not being tricked by the little girl. He could not be bothered when she protested in fear of the snakes, and forced her to go in first. When Lalia became more reluctant to do his bidding, he tightened his grip around Helima's neck once more, for effect, and it seemed to work as Lalia, upon hearing the princess cry, hurriedly scurried into the hole. She had barely gotten her whole body in the hole when she got bitten by one of the snakes.